This is some sort of tournament. Let's see what it is. Sit and go 150 buy in 8 players. But what's it called? Like the NAPT. It's entry to another tournament. I don't know how much money you could get out of it. You get free tickets, and I won a 3-handed tournament, and then it gave me an entry into this tournament. But the starting blinds is 50, and you only start out with 500, so it's kind of limited play. So it kind of takes the skill out of it when you have fewer blinds, well, less blinds per starting stack ratio. This is a 10-to-1 ratio, so tournament, like a $5 tournament I might be playing, it might start at 3,000 chips, but starting blind might be 20 chips, so that would be a 150 ratio. So there's more play, more skill involved in a higher ratio tournament than a lower ratio one where you have to rely on luck. Because to play a hand, I have to risk at 10% of my starting stack without any raises. So in a tournament like this, ideally you want to get lucky right away. You want to build up double or triple up, and then you can afford to play more hands and then speculate more. Because poker is all about speculating. You have to make educated guesses and speculate. So I'm hoping to win pre-flop, since it's going to be 100 chips next blind for me. This guy might call. He has enough chips to call. Lost another flip today on PokerStars. I don't win too many flips on all websites, but my hand history will reflect that on PokerStars. All you have to do is watch. Let's see, what number am I at now? This is a good video to watch. This is a good video to watch in that YouTube channel, MeyerDiggins. There's some good videos to watch, but there is subliminal imagery that could impact you. It's a $5 bounty tournament. Get $1.25 bounties. They call this one knockout power. So you don't start out with 5,000 chips like some of the other bounty tournaments they have on PokerStars. starting 10% with my starting chips. So now I can speculate a bit. I don't really have position, so I'm gonna pull the parachute anyways. But sometimes this hand works out. It's like a Sudoku puzzle. Sometimes it's the two card key to the puzzle. Most Sudoku puzzles, there's two numbers that are the key to the problem, like the whole solution. Might be 7, 5, 9, 2, but there's going to be two that are once you figure out the 7, 5, or 9, 2 for the problem, like the Sudoku puzzle, then the rest usually falls into place, except for harder ones. Then it's 3 numbers, and probably even harder ones, 4 numbers. So that's an alright start. What was the first hand? I know that hand was kind of garbage that I wouldn't have won if OK9's got. Maybe not at first if you're new to poker. Sit back and play more conservative, but when you do get more experience, when the blinds are so cheap, you want, like, they're 30, so you got 100 blinds to start. You could speculate, and you don't need to wait for the ace king or aces. You could play the 7, 8 suiteds, and the more mediocre hands, you could explore with them anyways. Always be prepared to fold. Like a King Jack is a terrible hand. It disappoints you lots, but sometimes it pays off, right? So you could explore with it. Really, King Jack, you can only play it strong if you make the straight with the king and the jack, or if you have 2 pairs. If you have 1 pair, then there's a certain percentage of the time you're gonna be out-kicked. And sometimes even with 2 pairs, you're gonna run into a higher 2 pairs, but it's less likely because you have especially if you have the 2 top pairs. Then if there's a King Jack on board on the flop with the flush draw, you might want to try to jam if you have them covered to make it so he can't draw for cheap. I was hoping the guy was trapping there. That's why I kind of went and swung for the fences. Okay, there's the sleeper hand, most likely. This guy could have it too. Let's see what his reaction is. I had no draw, so I'm gonna pull the parachute, but let's see how it ends up. I was hoping to be able to outplay them on a different street if the first guy folded. It was nice. So basically what I learned from that hand, unless he switches it up, that's how he's likely to check a pair on with the flush draw. And then raise. Unless he plays it different all the time. So I'm hearing lots of ear transmissions, clicks in my ear, and then software changes I feel in my body. Okay, I want to chase, but he could already have the 3-5, and I can chop, so I'm gonna fold. Call. Nice. Hopefully I could scoop up this bounty. Usually when they get low like that, this guy's likely to go all in. No, not always. Some smart players, he still, like, there's only 40 blinds or 40 chips, so he still has 7 big blinds, so he could rally back, but he most likely gonna jam. He folded. So since he folded, depending on how long he sits out, when he does go in, he's most likely going to have a strong hand since he has the patience to wait. So that's just a good tournament poker tip. Because he has so few chips, I would call him with anything. But chances are he might have ace king or probably an ace. At least ace 3, at least an ace, or king 7. Oh no, I want to call, but I think I have the losing hand, so I'm gonna fold. You got to be able to full toss when you get a bad vibe. I would have called that 1,000 chips, but once that other guy raised it, it kind of see if he goes all in. So he had a little bit of patience. So it's probably a mediocre hand, but I'm gonna call if nobody calls. I'm calling. 2 pair. Does he go all in again? Nice. Nice. Since he didn't quite have the patience, he went in with king or queen 3. I'm thinking I should be the favorite this time. Not this time. Now he's right back in the tournament. That's the beauty of it. That was fortuitous timing for him. In my last video, I wouldn't have been able to say fortuitous. I would have been hacked. I could barely say risk in my last video. Last few videos. But to these people that are secretly evaluating me, if I'm figuring out the system, how people are playing my mind, how could you ever sell that I'm incompetent? How could you ever sell that when the guy's figuring it out that they're playing with his mind and body all the time? So anybody should be able to tell that somebody hacked me and agreed me to say that, because why would I say the guy playing his body instead of saying somebody playing my body? Very perceptive individual. So I could say fortuitous, but I can't say perceptive. Until I said I couldn't say risk, so they had to cause a stutter and afterwards to discredit me. Let's see if I can pull off the win. I like to play lots of pots with different players and try to feel them out. Basically try to figure out a strategy to bust each player. There's no friends at the poker table. It's ruthless. It's cutthroat. I want to win, dominate all the time. I wouldn't want to hinder my chances to win, to make it harder. Wouldn't want to do that. There's enough chance in poker. So I've been on a pretty good tear where I don't think I finished in one of the first out in a online tournament. Probably in the last 15, 20 tournaments I've been in. My style, well, I guess the other day I was kind of I had pocket kings. I ran into pocket aces and pocket queens, and I lost that hand, so that was a pretty quick entry. So I guess I have. I just don't notice them as much because most of my tournaments are deep runs. where I'm playing for at least an hour. And that's what I love about online or real money poker is you get walks. And play money poker, yeah, you have to late in the tournament, like say a couple hours into the tournament, you might start getting walks. A walk is when you have a big blind and they fold to you and you don't have to earn the pot. Usually you have to get table respect before you start getting walks. Once you start getting table respect, then people, it's almost like once you become rich and famous, people start buying you food. Oh, I didn't even pay attention. Did that guy get eliminated that had 1,300 chips, or did he double up again? Got a bounty, nice. I won with Ace King. I didn't win much, mind you, but I still won. Okay, does he have the queen? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Johnson's landing for incredible brews. Fantastic.
That was a nice bet. That was
Get ready for a little bit of fun with Hamburg Gaming.
pretty suspicious, but I'm gonna call since I have position. Hopefully this guy doesn't jam. Nice. That kind of worked out, possibly. I called because I had the gut shot and the 2 outs for the 7. But that was a nice bet, and I did think he had the queen, so I was hoping to get lucky, but it would have left me 2,000 chips, and the blinds were low enough that I could recover from 2,000 chips. When you're playing poker, every chip you put in the pot is no longer yours until you win the pot. So it's like collateral damage. You have to accept some collateral damage. Yeah, especially when you play as active as I do. You know what? I gotta expect I'm gonna lose 2K, but at the same time I'm gonna gain 5K. See, I don't believe any of this right now, so I'm gonna call. But if you're a new poker player, it's a good time to fold because there's a potential straight out there. But let's see if situation changes. Nice bet. Oh, nice. I'm glad I get to see. I meant to bet 480, but the cursor moved it a little too much. I only wanted to risk 480 on the bluff, but I'm gonna fold. But at least I get to see. Yeah, that's the thing. If you do bluff, occasionally you're gonna bluff into a full house, so that's always a bad situation. Because sometimes, well, he happened to jam there, but if he would have raised it, then sometimes the play is to re-raise him all in, and then he traps you at that point. So sometimes it's a good strategy. Sometimes you want to, if you know the fish is on the hook and you got the nuts or near nuts, because he had the 6 full house, but there could have been a 4 of a kind of deuces. So he had the second nuts. So at that point, maybe at the casino, you're pretty almost certain that they don't have the 4 of a kind. Not all the time, but very infrequently do 4 of a kinds happen, and because there's less hands, whereas online there's more hands being played, so they're more frequently, and most likely it's easier to rig it online because it's electronic. It can be rigged at the casino as well. They could see through your cards, so they need to change that technology. Because I went to the casino, and when I'm playing online, my eye gets hacked sometimes, even though I know people are looking. I have nanotechnology eye cameras, I believe, so I don't always want to look at my whole cards right away until it's my turn. So sometimes I cover it with my thumb, but who wants to do that all the time, right? So I don't look. But even right now, somebody's trying to get me to peek at the top of my screen where I can see my peripherals doing it, so I'm not accurately doing it, but showing where those 2 cards are, because I didn't peek at my whole cards. So I'm kind of circumventing the rig right now. But at the casino, it's most advantageous to wait your turn before you look at the cards. So am I gonna play? Now I look and see my cards. for the first time. So I skewed the results up until then. But who wants to do that every single time they're playing poker at home? Who wants to be playing with cheats that are trying to peek at their cards and feel manly because they win a pot? And it's basically play money. It's a $5 tournament. Like, let's see what first place is. So criminal, like they're committing communication crimes, international communication crimes, and first place is $108.12. So they're risking life imprisonment potentially, and execution, because I'm going to be king of the world basically, and any hijacking of my body is treason, so it's going to be execution. So they're risking execution for $108. $108 of real money. None of this play money, pretending it's worth millions of dollars on the line. There's $108 on the line. It was a $5 tournament. So anyways, at the casino, when it's not your turn, you gotta pay attention to the body language of people that are how they react to their hole cards. Because typically, not always, like, so I would falsely, since I'm saying this, I'm going to use it as a reverse tell sometimes. But when they're not interested in a pot, people typically sit back in their seat. When they're interested in the pot, they typically lean forward. So this is even before their turn, right? So you got to pick up on these visual cues. And I played very limited casino experience, and I picked this up already. I'm very perceptive. And what's going on here? I want to call, but he's likely to, it's not my hand to win, I don't think. But it should be interesting. So you want to look at these physical cues when they're their body language. So if they're leaning back, they're not in the pot, most likely, and if they're leaning forward, they're more into the pot. And especially if they look at their chips before their turn, they're most likely gonna raise, they're gonna call, they're interested in the pot if they look at their chips. But that being said, if I go to the casino, I know this, and I'm saying this, I'm gonna use it as a reverse tell sometimes. I'm gonna pretend to look at my cards and then pretend to be interested in the pot and then sit back. Because I'm always interested in the pot. I'm perceptive. I'm there to play poker, so I'm there to learn psychological tells on all my opponents. And the best time to do that is when I'm not in the pot, when they think I'm not paying attention to them. That's when you pay attention the most. That's where you win your profit margin from these people. Because if you're off in your phone doing your own thing, chatting away, and you're not paying attention to how people play hands, pivotal hands at different situations, peeking behind their curtain, seeing their tells, then you're missing out on that opportunity. The whole time, if I'm at a casino, I'm going to be, the only thing is, at least online, I can see everybody's actions. I can't physically see them, which is unfortunate, but I could see how much time it takes them to bet, how frequently they bet, how much they bet, how likely they are to fold to a bet or raise. These are some of the psychological tells I could pick up on people. But at the casino, it's body language, what they say, and then how long they bet, how much they bet. Because each bet is either, do they want you to call, do they want you to raise, or do they want you to fold? So every bet, there's those three scenarios. So then all the psychological tells that you got going on, past hand history, previous experience playing that player, should give you a database in your brain, basically, to formulate the best decision, best game plan for people. Like, you want to, every player I don't want to bankrupt them. Like, all my cheats, anybody that electronically cheats me, I want to bankrupt them. I want to bankrupt them and cause misery in their life. But when I'm playing poker, I'm hoping they have a bankroll, but I want to take every cent they put at the table. If they keep coming back, I want to take every cent from them. And I hope they learn before they go broke that it's not advantageous to play against me and then leave. But even that, like, sometimes I would leave because there's been times where I have the guy dominated, I have him figured out, and I bust him 3 times, but on the 4th time he busts me and he gets all my chips. Even though I had his number, I had him outplayed, he just got lucky enough that he took all my chips. So I know this now in hindsight. So in the future when that happens, it's like, okay, I bust him 3 times, I'm done playing heads up with you. You're bound to get lucky against me eventually. So I'm gonna go for it. There's so let's see, 31, that leaves me 2,600. And what are the blinds? Blinds are 80, so that's not too bad. 2,600 to leave me, because it's unlikely I'm gonna win 5s, but there is a chance with 2 bounties, so it's kind of worth it. It's a $5 entry fee, and I could potentially win $2.50 back. So I'm gonna do it. 6s, queens, club. That was unfortunate, but I'm more confident in my playing ability, that even though that set me back, I'm well, what's average? 4,500 chips, so that's not too bad. 20 keys to first. And I still got enough chips that I could see a flop with 7 deuce here, so I'm good. The only thing now is I don't really have anybody covered in chips, so I can't. Well, there's 2 bounties I could get theoretically. Yeah, I didn't leave him there. I should have raised him instead of calling. That was the only mistake. I didn't believe him, because I probably could have got him to fold the 4. So 353. That was a nice 7 deuce hand. So the turning point so far in this tournament, unless I recover, is making the call with the 5s when there was 2 people ahead. A general rule of thumb is it's one thing to go all in with 5s, but don't call with 5s, as a general rule of thumb. But don't always do that either. Like, say, do that 80% of the time, 90% of the time. But enough that, because usually, like, in that scenario, a certain percentage of the time when you get pocket pairs, you run into a higher pocket pair. So it happens more frequently when you have a lower pocket pair, because there's more higher pocket pairs. Oh no, I folded. Maybe I would have had got lucky here. Most times in poker, you're not drawn dead until the turn. So, that being said, sometimes if you have the chips anyways, you want to speculate and at least see the turn and then try to ascertain if you're drawn dead or you have viable outs. Sometimes you're drawn dead on the flop, but very rarely. It's probably going to happen to me more frequently now, but we'll see in future videos. So what video would this be? It's 90 something. Or later on in this video. So I'm trying to uninstall the artificial intelligence software that knows my hand history and trying to develop a pattern to beat me. So I'm going to uninstall that so it has none of my hand history to help out these electronic cheats who I view as enemy combatants that electronically hijack my body and violate my human experience. So I wonder if Big Stack is going to get a couple bounties here. I probably would have been broke if I seen the river. If they would have checked down to the river, I would have probably called an all-in, but I would have folded most likely before then. Here's the unexpected haymaker. Good luck me if I get called. And he hit the 4. That's the luck I have on PokerStars. Queen 4. Queen 4. That's brutal. And the thing is, I don't know if it's going to be... If this will be the last video that I post. But the video prior to this, or the one prior to that, is going to be the same outcome. Some terrible hand that they made some ridiculous call and got lucky. I may have not had the best hand, but I had the leading hand anyways. Queen 4. I guess that's decent enough. Not really. That's not even really any better. So I guess I will play in this. So it's hold them. Turbo, so that's I wonder how fast the blinds are. Turbo tournaments are good in a way because they late at night they're good because you don't want to be all the time, like depending on the tournament and the value of the tournament. But maybe it's on Ontario tournament, so maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is about as late as tournament should run. Maybe 3, but because that's the terrible thing about the strategy, but of being only able to compete against Ontario players is if I work night shift and I'm a poker player, there's no game on my days off. My body's used to working night shift. I'm sleeping during the day still. I'm wide awake at nighttime and there's nothing for me to do. So with poker, being able to compete against the world, there's always a game, a real money game where you have stuff to do. So what the Ontario government has to do, and all governments have to do, is even though I wouldn't like it so much as a poker player, would help me at tax time, is every hand the casino would, well, the app would get their rake, whatever they make, but the government would get a certain percentage of taxes. So at the end of the year, most people are losing players, so they're going to get a tax refund. But those winning players, they're going to have accumulated so much tax money that they're going to have to owe the government less taxes. Basically, oh, that's terrible. Making it so they're less likely to owe the government, basically. Oh, that's brutal. At least he had a better hand than me, though. At least it wasn't Queen 4. That is brutal. Queens versus Kings. Well, hopefully I could earn $5 and then I'll try to get back in the $5 tournament. But I want to do that fast within the next 8 minutes so I can make a new video. Oh, they're sitting out. I don't know why they do that. What's the point of sitting at a table? Then sitting out. Me, when I join a table, when I'm heads up or three-handed, I'm like a shark to fish. I frenzy. Because most people don't know how to play short-handed. I spend a lot of time playing short-handed, so I'm able to put them in the deep end and out of their comfort zone a lot more often than they are me. So that's the brutal thing. Like right now, look at, I want to play money. I got money, real money, and I want to play, and there's no game in Ontario for me to play right now. Go to sit down at the table. Maybe now one is opened up, but okay, that's all right. But look how long it took me to find a game. How does this app make money if you can't sit down and play when you want it? Whereas against the world, if this was a worldwide poker app for all countries that have where they play real money, I'm always gonna find a game. Always. I'm gonna sit down. It doesn't matter if I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I feel like playing poker, there's a game. So if they did the tax strategy for Ontario, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm contributing to the Ontario economy at 5 o'clock in the morning. Wide awake, contributing to the economy, making it stronger. Then not to mention when you win, you'd be buying big ticket items. That's most likely the most brutal river card. But at the same time, I gotta try to bet. Nice bet. So he almost certainly has the flush. But I have to call because I got the straight. I'm glad I didn't lose. Best thing about poker is you could take risks. Good luck me if I'm called. I don't always do that when I have top pair, like a low top pair like that. Almost never, because usually when you have a top pair with nines, even if you have ace nine, usually you run into tens, jacks, queens, kings, or aces, a higher pocket pair. Same thing with kings. Like right here, this hand, occasionally somebody's going to have pocket aces or a king nine. People play king nine, so it's a playable hand. Sometimes they play king deuce, so two pair is a viable hand right now, or a set. And then the flush draw. So my situation isn't the greatest. I could be leading, but at the same time, I'm expecting that I'm possibly going to lose. But he might get lucky. They can't let him draw for cheap. I got to try to extract chips, but at the same time, be able to pull the parachute if I need to in that scenario. Because I only had an 8 kicker. So it's too weak to play too strong. Occasionally, like, sometimes I played that, I would have jammed on the flop. Because I had a top pair. If I thought top pair was the strongest hand, and I'm likely to get a call with the weak hand, I'm going to make that play. Like I did with 9-5. So I just had a thought that, so my luck is likely to change, because I just had a thought that this is basically play money. It's the 1 cent, 2 cent table. Like it's pretty weak for real money tables. So I'm likely to lose now. Just call my shots. Because I had that thought, and I seen somebody subliminally transfer something in my brain, my mind's eye. So they must be able to see my cards now. For pennies. They're willing to risk, because once again in the future I'm going to be declared king, so it's going to be a dereliction of duty for anybody that is complicit to helping these cheaters cheat. So that could be my cell phone, my wireless provider, my home internet provider, my Ontario government, Poker Stars, for putting me at these tables with known cheats, for not having a square game, a legitimate game, an unhackable game. When all my videos I'm calling out the suspicious technologies, so they should be able to protect their interest in securing, making it the most secure app on the planet, even more than GG or other companies that I haven't used, because I don't want to have to sue them in the future. So I'd rather not have a bad experience with them, with other companies. I'd rather my experience with Poker Stars change. Because I know they're denying me my greatness. I know they are. And it can't even happen on Poker Stars, unfortunately, because it's so limited. It's like, if you're American, it's like playing poker in Michigan when you could be playing poker. Like, so Michigan has maybe 8 million. Well, Ontario has maybe 7 million, population of 7 million people. So out of those 7 million people, how many of them are real money poker players? Whereas in the world, there's 7 billion people or 8 billion people. So how many of those are real money poker players? So if you have them all playing on one app, then the tournaments get bigger. Then the nights when you're on fire, then you can't be beat, basically. You're lucky, you're running hot lucky-wise, and you're just making amazing decisions consistently. You're just playing flawlessly. So you're hard to beat at that point because you're getting the fortuitous bounces, and you're making the smart folds, the good bluffs. You're doing it all that night. So in a $30 tournament, when you're competing against the world, the prize pool might be $45,000 or something like that. So first place could be $10,000 off a $30 tournament, or whatever it would be. More than Ontario. If I won a $30 tournament, I might win $600. What are you going to do with $600? How are you going to change your life with $600? Whereas if it was competing against the world, you win a $30 tournament. Next thing you know, you win 12 grand. You're going out, you're buying a car, and you're contributing to, in my case, it'd be the Ontario and Canadian economy. You're buying big ticket items. At least if you're smart, you are. You're developing a bankroll, but you want to be spending some of this money because it's feast or famine in poker. So you want to buy some assets, and if I won $1 million in poker, the very first thing I would do is buy a house and buy a brand new car, or a car that's a last year's model. Because, unless it's changed, unless they have a new styling for that particular model, I would go with last year's model, and which is already amortized a bit. It lost its value a bit, so it's a little cheaper, and it's still brand new, but it's just 1 year older. So it only affects you when you sell the car. But when you buy the car, you benefit. I just wanted to see, I might have pulled off a slippery victory. Okay, so what was I talking about? I'm getting hacked lately, more about losing my train of thought. So about the cars, and they amortized by last year's model. Yeah, so in these big ticket, when you compete against the world, you'd be buying big ticket items. So if I won $1 million, I'd buy a house at least, and I could probably buy a pretty good decent house anyways for about $500,000 Canadian, and that's enough for me to have some space, and I would rent out a couple rooms. Well, rent out one room. I'd probably find a female roommate and rent out a room to her, and then keep a room for my kids whenever they came, and then so that would leave me, say, probably $450,000, and then I'd buy a car, probably a used car, getting the features that I want, and then because I'd be assuming I could repeat this again. If I can make $1 million once, I'm assuming I could do it multiple times. So the first time I'd buy a house and then buy a used car, and then I would invest in stocks with some, and invest in develop some of my business ideas. I'm never gonna develop this, but basically I come up with ideas like the kayak backpack. a backpack that could convert into a kayak for when you're trailblazing and hiking. Like, somebody could develop that idea. I'll never go for intellectual property or anything like that, unless it was exploited prior to today's date. And it's June 16th, 2024, 10:06 p.m. Because I come up with stuff like the see-through canoe I came up with. Because basically when I went canoeing, it's like I want to be able to see the fish, ideally, see the rocks, see what's underneath me. And so after I posted it online probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it's now been developed. The longest it took to develop a technology was Tesla's starting to do it now, is automatic braking for cars. Like, I came up with that idea in like 2003, and I emailed every I'm not even American, and I consider Ford and GM domestic to me, but I emailed every domestic car company, and I didn't want anything in return from it. I just gave them the intellectual property, the idea of basically of the car sensing the car in front of it and automatically braking. I gave them that concept before in 2003, because basically I was going to a job interview, and at this Jack place anyways, and I was driving, and when you're on the highway, you can't tell if somebody's slowing down or if they're stopped at first until you get close enough, until your perception changes. So there must be a certain percentage of people that rear end the cars on the highway, because they can't tell that they're in a complete stop or if they're slowing down. So if you're in that situation on the highway, the best thing to do is look in your mirror, but put on your hazards to let them know that you're stopped, so you don't get rear-ended. That's the most strategic thing you could do. This is how I look at life. I look at life with strategy. My son's like, Dad, I forget exactly what he said now, but when I think of strategy, I think of you, or something like that. It was the greatest compliment I ever had from my son. So anyways, I went to this interview, the job interview at that Pylon place or Jack place, whatever it was. And I mentioned it in the interview, and it was like she was a little put off, like I wouldn't be a right fit for the company because I was too intellectual, possibly. I was had bigger dreams than just being a Jack guy working for $17 an hour or whatever it was. Because I'm conservative. Like my grandfather, he came to Canada. He left Denmark, everything he knew behind, and came to Canada to forge a better future for his kids and for himself and his grandkids, I guess, for future generations. So he gave up everything. I don't know if he could speak the language. Like he had a very thick accent, so I don't know if he could speak the language before he came here or if he learned it when he was here. But he came here and he was a shoemaker. That's when it was a trade. His family, unfortunately, this is back when there was kind of nepotism. Like his grandmother, somebody told him that he was going to be a shoemaker, so that's what he became. And then they told his brother that he was going to be a machinist, so that's what he became. And don't listen to your parents. If you're young watching this, it's your destiny. So become who you want to become, basically. Be happy. You want to be happy with the job you have, basically. You spend a lot of time working, so you want to be passionate about the job and enthusiastic about it every day, because there's days when you're going to hate going to work, when you're going to hate your alarm clock if you don't like your job. But if you like your job, you don't mind the alarm clock because you love your job. You get to go to work and do something that you're passionate about. For me, it's working from a Wi-Fi connection, like being whether it be poker, investing, and or innovating. Like, I don't want to be the guy, the CEO of the company that's in the office day in, day out. Like, that's just not my personality. I'm the visionary. I'm the leader, the leadership, but at the same time, there's better people that are more qualified at running businesses day in, day out that I'd rather delegate to, if you get my drift. But I would still want to, for conceptualization and brainstorming and product development, I'd want to be part of that process. But most products, I'm so good at coming up with ideas that most products I'm probably gonna come up with the idea and then license it out and then hands off. Very few am I gonna cultivate, develop, and they're gonna be my baby that I'm gonna cherish, and those ones they're not gonna be on the stock exchange, because if I go public, then stockholders are gonna want to maximize profit. And since I could come up with so many inventions, I don't need to maximize profit for every invention, because I'm not greedy. So certain products, I'm going to have to maximize profit to float the boat for the rest of them, the ones that don't win, for the non-winners. Like, I came up with the digital photo frame 18 months before Sony did. So there's a possibility that I could have an intellectual property case against them. And I dreamt of Xbox Live before it came out. So I could possibly have a case against Microsoft. Stealing my intellectual property in my dreams. So anyways, I come up with so many ideas that I don't need to make money off, like a ton of money off everything. Like, I'm going to try to broker people together, network, and then if I give, say, guy that has resources, I introduce him to another guy that has the money, then I'll get a finder's fee, like say 10% of the profit. And then for facilitating basically making everything happen, for making the network happen, because without me being the intermediary, they never would have met, and then these ideas, that business never would have happened at all. So I'm going to do that sometimes, and then there's going to be some products, like any special, most products, they're going to be marked up based on supply and demand and the rarity of it, and like anything, like you get what you pay for. If you buy an entry-level product, it doesn't matter what country you go to, the entry-level product price, you have to expect that quality is not going to be as high as something that's a premium product of that same quality, of the same type of product. So if you buy a bike, you buy the entry-level bike, like I did recently. I bought the entry-level bike from a store, and the crank, I could already hear sounds in the crank, and the seat is already slipping, and the components aren't the greatest, and I doubt it's gonna. I'm almost certain that I'm gonna have to return it before the warranty ends. So I kept my receipt. If not, if it was a higher quality brand bike, I wouldn't have to keep my receipt in my mind. I still would. It's prudent to keep your receipt, but at the same time, with a higher quality brand, if I would have spent, I spent $170. So if I would have spent, say, $400, $500, I would have higher quality components. The brakes would be better. Like, the brake pads would be better. They would last longer. The crank would be better. The chain would be better. The tire, everything would be better. Better quality. So you get what you pay for. So all you could do is try to find the best quality product at the lowest price point in the brand. So if that's competitive. So I went to the competitor store, and the store I bought from was $170, and the competitor store was $250. So I went with $170, but am I gonna pay for it? Like, in hindsight, I'm like, I should have paid the extra $80 because I probably would have got better quality with that $80. That $80 probably would have bought me an extra year worth of performance from the bike. So I might have saved in the short run, but it might cost me in the long run. And it's been a long video, so if I lose that. So it's not looking like I'm going to get up to the $5 before, maybe. When does the late registration end? Because that's all I'm playing for right now. Okay, late registration ended for the $5 tournament. That's no good. I guess it could be in the $3 tournament. I just hit a flush, so it's unlikely I'm going to hit another flush, but it is online, so it is possible. But unlikely. I think he has the 8, so I'm going to try to make a play. And, he had the 8, 6-8. Good thing I didn't go all in. I was going to go all in. But I was pretty sure he had the 8 there. So now it looks like I'm on tilt to some observant people. So hopefully I get a loose call. Other than, well, me win with the Queen 4 against the Queen 4 again. This time. I don't think he's calling. If he does, I'm probably going to lose. So. But if he does fold, I won 5 cents uncontested. So now I got 87 cents. And basically earned the blinds for the next round. So I think I'm gonna pull the parachute here. Maybe not. I'm gonna plant the seed. Nice call. Nice call. Good like me. An open-ended straight flush draw. Boo-hoo. Good like me. Nines. Oh. Oh, that was brutal. There was some hope there. But I expect to lose. That's why I was like, oh, rather than yeah. I expected to lose by the river. And that was 100% genuine reaction. It was like, oh, I could win. But I'm unlikely to. Anyways, if you want to have your mind blown, go to www.change.org/technology and watch the videos. Make an informed decision. Make an informed decision and sign it on social media. Contribute a few bucks. Get it on the agenda in your country. And so civilian and military oversight committee could be set up to keep Big Brother in check. Because if you see this pattern right here, it's the different biosensors that they use to hack people's bodies, basically. They have, there's a sensor for vision, so they can see what your vision's doing, see what you see, basically. And for your hearing, your blood pressure, your glucose, toxins, and it could all be viewed over a cell phone. And if you look at the cell phone, it's an older cell phone technology. And so nowadays it's nanotechnology. It's nanotechnology in your eye fluid. And then it's absorbed through your skin. We breathe it in, we eat it, we drink it. It's used to, the government uses it to control the population. So consciously, at least once a day from now on, the rest of your life, until this is publicly known, consciously say, I want to kill my electronic violators with my thoughts. Because now, if you've seen this, I'm trying to show you behind the curtain, basically, what these evil people do, and it's only a matter of time before they get brought to justice. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.